Okay, so we're going to identify characteristics of a parabola when we're given an equation. And the equation that we're given is this guy right here. And what I want to find out is I want to find out um, my three things here. So I want to find out that I have a vertex, I have a focus, a directrix, and an axis of symmetry. And over here on the left of these words, I've said some key information. My vertex is my HK of my equation, my H and my K. I can find my focus and my directrix if I use P, and I can do my axis of symmetry if I know what the x of my vertex is. So I'm going to start with my vertex. I'm going to come over here to my equation and know that if it says +2 here, it really means it's moving this way too. And when it says +1 here, it means that I'm moving up 1. So my vertex is going to be -2, 1. And knowing that, I can use the x of my vertex and I can write down my axis of symmetry, which means that my x is -2. So I have a couple of things I can do right away just by looking at my equation. And I'm going to plot that onto my grid over here. So on this grid over here, I'm going to say that it's going x is -2, y is 1. That gives me my vertex, and that my axis of symmetry is right here through it. Okay, so I've got that. My axis of symmetry at x equals -2, and my vertex at the point -2, 1. Okay. Now that I have that, I also know that because my A here is negative, I know that this guy is going to go upside down. So I know that when I draw my parabola, it's going to be upside down. So it's going to go in this direction when I finally put this picture in. Okay. Now I need to focus on finding these two pieces of information, my focus and my directrix. And the way that I do that is I use this value here, the 1/4. The negative tells me it's upside down, but I'm going to deal with this 1/4 and use the formula that I know that y equals -1/4p x minus or +2, or actually we're going x minus h. I'll do the original thing. So x minus h squared plus k. And we've done these pieces. We used the h and the k. Now we're trying to figure out our p. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to say that I know that this 1/4 is equivalent to this 1/4 p. So I'm just going to set them equal to each other and say I know that, and I'll do this in green, that I know that my 1/4 is the same as 1/4 p. And if I do my cross multiplication and say, well, I have 1 times 4p, well, that equals 4p. And then I have 4 times 1, and that's going to be 4. And I solve for p, I get p equals 1. Okay, so if I know that p equals 1, I can use that information. I can use this information and say that I know the distance here between my vertex and my focus is 1 unit, and I know that this distance here between my vertex and my directrix is going to be 1 unit. And that's going to help me to figure out what exactly my focus is and what exactly my directrix is. Now, a thing to notice is that, and I'm going to write this down, put this in purple down here. I'm going to say that my focus is always inside my curve of my parabola. And that's how I knew when I was doing this in my graph, how I knew that this right here would be my focus because my parabola's curve is going down. So that helps me know that where that's going to be. So I just need to be able to label that point. So this point right here, it's going to be 2 over on the x-axis. So I can say, well, that's going to be -2. and that my y value is 0. So I have a point now for my focus. I also know that my directrix is here. It's the same p distance from my vertex. So I can draw in that horizontal line and say, well, I've got this horizontal line right here. And I can name that line. And horizontal lines are y equals graphs, and it's at 1, 2. So y equals 2. So I can say my directrix is at y equals 2. So now I have all the pieces I needed to describe the characteristics of my parabola.